Anthony Davis sparked Southern California to big win over UCLA for Pacific 8 title. Roosevelt leaks, shatters rushing records as Texas grabs 6th straight Southwest Conference crown. Sophomore Archie Griffin runs Ohio State into the Rose Bowl. John Cappelletti pounds Penn State to an unbeaten season and the Orange Bowl. From freshmen to seniors, runners dominate 1973. They are the headliners as, for the 84th year, we honor the outstanding players of a great football season. President of the American Football Coaches Association, Southern California's John McKay.
To select an All-American team is not easy. The American football coaches work very hard in trying to attempt to determine the very best young men at each position, both offensively and defensively. We exchange movies, we look at youngsters in person, we have personal phone calls to other coaches and ask them who they think. We evaluate very, very hard to make sure that our All-American team is the finest group of youngsters that we could pick in any one season. I would now like to introduce to you the 1973 All-American team. To be a great receiver, you have to be able to do three things: catch the football, run with it after you catch it, and block. The young men that we're going to introduce to you are the people, in our opinion, did it the best in 1973.
The most dangerous scoring threat in college football. That's what opposing coaches call Danny Buggs of West Virginia. It's his blazing speed that rattles the enemy, whether catching passes or returning punts. A junior, Danny Lightning Buggs is a mountaineer on the move. Notre Dame finished the 1973 regular season undefeated and untied for the first time in 23 years. 240-pound tight end Dave Casper was a massive spark plug of the Irish offense. Casper's blocking, catching, and running gunned the Irish into the Sugar Bowl and won an All-America berth for the senior from Chilton, Wisconsin. Catching a football is possibly the sport's single most thrilling and beautiful moment. To the fans, it's an exciting matchup of player against player. The ultimate challenge, says Southern California's all-time leading receiver, Lynn Swan.
When it's man-to-man, it's his ability against my ability, my brain against his brain. And I come out to beat him. I like challenge, I like competition. And when this guy, is trying to stop me, I'm saying to myself, well, I'm not going to be stopped. I'm coming out here to catch the ball and try to score and get as many yards as I can. So when I come out there, I'm just trying to show him that I have as much or more ability at my position than he does at his. I like to think of myself as a true competitor, and there's no more competition in the field than returning a punt when it's you and at least 9 guys that you have to get away from, mostly by yourself.
A receiver's success depends on many factors, not the least of which is a group of dedicated blockers who give the passer and his target time to win games.
The offensive line position is the most difficult to master. It's the one position in football that you're not able to use your hands. Of course, this is an unnatural action to any youngster. These young men did the outstanding job and were picked by the coaches.
Number 72 is Darrell White of Nebraska, a 3-year starter for the Cornhuskers. At Alabama, Big Red football fans cheered an undefeated regular season and an aggressive blocker from Tallahassee. Buddy Brown cleared the way for the Tide's explosive offense. At Southern Cal, Booker Brown also enjoyed upsetting people.
I like to overpower guys, but I can't overpower them. I'll use maybe a technique, maybe finesse. But he will tell me what I can do maybe the first play of the game, because I'm going to go after him, make him play my game if possible. But if I can get him to try and beat me, then I don't have to worry about him making any tackles, because he'll spend most of his time on me and not on the running back or the quarterback. So if he's trying to beat me, then I'm in good shape, because that means his mind is in the right place, where I am.
Good blocking is basic football. Often, only coaches watch for it. Here, the path clearing of All-America center Bill Wyman of Texas is studied by John McKay. By examining and re-examining plays on film, the coaches are able to determine who the best players are, position by position. All the coaches were impressed with All-America center Bill Wyman. Woody Hayes has seen a lot of football players in 23 years at Ohio State, but nobody quite like All-America tackle John Hicks.
John Hicks is the best lineman we've had since I've been here. He does a great job against any man they ever put him against. He has great ability and great strength and great quickness for a man that weighs 250 pounds. But on top of this, he has a desire to excel, and that desire permeates the squad. He's as good a leader as we've ever had.
I can remember when I was just beginning to play football, I can remember reading about Ferguson and Warfield and those guys, you know, and then as I got older, you saw Shafrath and Houston, people like that coming into the pro ranks from Ohio State, and you just like to be a part of it.
John Hicks became a vital part of the Buckeyes' success and a part of the All-America offensive line with Darrell White, Buddy Brown, Booker Brown, and Bill Wyman.
The offensive team quarterback must be a team leader. He must be a coach on the field. He must be an excellent ball handler. He must be a very fine passer. And above all, he must be able to lead his team and give them the confidence it takes to move the football down the field.
Running quarterbacks wrote many of the top headlines in 1973. Tom Clements, a junior, guided Notre Dame to a berth in the Sugar Bowl. Dennis Franklin, also a junior, kept Michigan undefeated and tied for the top spot in the Big Ten. Sophomore Steve Davis keyed Oklahoma to a perfect season with his 47-yard touchdown run that jolted Nebraska. Tennessee's Conridge Holloway scrambled all over Dixie, and he'll return in 1974. But the top quarterback of them all was a drop-back passer, David James of Kansas. James is a clutch quarterback whose touchdown passes won or tied 4 games in the final minute of play. He owns 17 school and 6 Big 8 passing records. He's thrown more touchdown passes than any quarterback in Big 8 history. A senior from Bonner Springs, Kansas, David James, the coach's pick as the top quarterback in America.
Playing the defensive line takes a youngster who has to be able to read the offensive lineman. It's a difficult position because you do not have a starting count. You have to wait till the offense makes its move and then you react to this. You have to be big enough to play against double teams, quick enough to rush the passer and such. It's one of the most difficult positions.
Nebraska's John Dutton, 6'7", 262 pounds, with the strongest arms of any player in Cornhusker history. Teammates call him the Lurch. At Michigan, Coach Bo Schembechler's defense was built around Wolverine Dave Gallagher.
Dave Gallagher is an exceptional defensive tackle. Originally, he came to Michigan as a linebacker. Dave has that great asset that all All-Americans should have. That's a tremendous motivation. An excellent student in pre-medicine, the type of guy who enters into other activities on the campus plays and so forth, and just a great all-around guy. And he's just been a tremendous football player for Michigan.
At Maryland, three-year starter Paul Volano averaged 14 tackles a game in 1973. Volano is a major reason Maryland is invited to a bowl for the first time in 17 years. When opponents ran against Oklahoma, they met head-on 737 pounds of Selman. Lucius, Dewey, and Leroy, the brothers three. And the oldest, Lucius, is the coach's choice to anchor the All-America defensive line.
I believe if I can get out there and have my mind made up that I'm going to whip the guy in front of me, which is the center, I think that's the most important thing that I have to do. Is the first thing I have to do is whip the guy in front of me. And that's what I always think about.
The feats of the Selmans are legend around Eufaula, Oklahoma. They'll tell you that Lucius gained his strength working on the family farm, that it was not unusual to see him carrying a 150-pound hog under his arm. Now he simply substitutes ball carriers for hogs. Undefeated Oklahoma's Lucius Selman, the oldest of football's first family of defense.
Back all the way. I just want you to use his hands.
Cut! Southern California, like most successful football teams, spends many, many hours teaching defense.
And those hands and feet are doing what? Going. Okay. There was a point when George was rushing the pass center, and you got here, George, and you had no way of getting around. What did you do now? You crash him. We use the term crash, right? Right. If I'm right there, and I see this guy pass protecting on me, and I know I can't get around him as I'm coming here, I'm going to crash and come into him, put fear in that quarterback, right? Go! Come on, Johnny! Hands up! Out of the way, Kevin, let's go! Get him up! Get him up! Out of baby, good. Picking the feet up.
Out of this dedicated practice comes Richard Wood, number 83, All-America linebacker.
I think I'm very reckless in the way I play football. I guess the way I was brought up in the street, we played football on the pavement, and we even played tackle on the pavement. And it really didn't matter, how many bruises or cuts, how many headaches you got, anything. It really doesn't matter to me now. I just look at it just the way I played in the street and just play with reckless abandon. Football, to me, since I've been growing up, helped me in a lot of ways. My coaches, always emphasize having a good head on your shoulders and having a good body. And all through my life, football has helped me build myself as a better person.
Linebacker Warren Coupon is the heart of Louisiana State's rugged defense. Whether meeting a runner head-on or jarring the ball loose with a clutch tackle, this senior from Baton Rouge takes his place in a long line of Tiger defensive greats. Oklahoma's Rod Schote says his job is to get to the ball carrier fast and then establish a good body relationship. Choate's versatility helped Oklahoma to a Big 8 crown. Ohio State's repeat All-America, Randy Gradishar, may be the best linebacker to come out of the Big Ten since Dick Butkus.
In high school, I always wanted to be an All-American, but I came from a small high school, and I was never chosen, even for All-State, All-City, or anything. And when I came to Ohio State, this was my chance to prove myself. And it was one of my dreams, and one of my dreams was to go to the Rose Bowl, and one of my dreams this year was to be an All-American. And this is a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. They think that you get an All-American honor just for going out on Saturday afternoon and performing, but it's really not true. You go out there and you sweat, you get bumped, you hurt. It was just a great honor when I found out that I was chosen to be a Kodak All-American, and it's just an experience that every person does not get to have in their lifetime.
Buckeye senior Randy Gradishar realized his dream and joins Wood of USC, Capone of LSU, and Choate of Oklahoma as the All-America linebacker.
The youngsters who play in the defensive secondary have an unusual position in the fact that they play half the game running backwards. They must have the agility to cover man-to-man, must be able to read when the run comes, come up and force it, take on a blocker, be excellent tacklers, but above all be able to react to a thrown ball. These are, in our opinion, are the ones who are excelled in that position.
For 2 years, Randy Rhino has roamed the rambling Rec secondary, refusing to allow pass completions in his area. A junior, Rhino is one of the nation's leading punt returners, as well as the top hitter on the Tech baseball team. Michigan junior Dave Brown delivers a striking blow when he finds his target. It was Brown, number 6, who made many clutch tackles in the Wolverine-Ohio State battle, clinching an All-America berth. Joining Randy Rhino and Dave Brown is Iowa State's Matt Blair, number 47. Blair is the Cyclones' rover back, often found in the enemy backfield. A hard-hitting standout at a tough position. Let's clear the way. Take your seat and bring on the heroes of 1973.
The running backs in football certainly are one of the most glamorous positions in football. I think that a lot of people understand it takes great ability to do this, but I think a lot of people misunderstand the fact that it takes great dedication to be a great runner. Anytime a youngster carries the ball 30 to 35 times in a game, he may be the best conditioned athlete on your team. These young men excelled in these positions in 1973.
There were a great many outstanding runners in 1973. Alabama's Wilbur Jackson broke Tennessee's back with his beautiful 80-yard sprint. With Jackson doing most of the toting, the Tide's offense ranked among the top 3 in the country in rushing, scoring, and total offense. Junior Anthony Davis overcame off-season injuries, finished strong, and powered USC into its 2nd straight Rose Bowl. Sophomore Archie Griffin became Ohio State's all-time game and season rushing leader. Young Tony Dorsett of Pittsburgh ran for more yards than any freshman in football history, including a record 209 against rugged Notre Dame. And Kermit Johnson rewrote the rushing record book at UCLA. Here, during a festive week for returning grads of Southern Methodist, a Texas fullback is about to ruin the homecoming celebration. It is at big games like this traditional Southwest Conference clash that over 50 miles of film is shot, producing exciting footage on all the color and pageantry of college football. Plus the intimate action of the All-Americas at their best. With motion picture and national television exposure, college football fans everywhere can appreciate the outstanding talents of the 1973 All-America running backs, starting with Roosevelt Leaks of Texas. Against SMU, Leaks rambled for an amazing 342 yards, only 8 short of the all-time NCAA single-game record. Following All-America Bill Wyman's blocks, Leaks just couldn't be stopped. And Darrell Royal had his 6th straight Southwest Conference championship with his junior fullback leading the charge.
Roosevelt Leaks is a total football player. He plays the entire game. We watched him in high school, and he played as a defensive linebacker as well as offensive fullback. And to show you something about his aggressiveness, we were just as impressed with his defensive ability as a linebacker as we were his running ability as a fullback.
Nobody in the storied history of Southwest Conference football has outrun Leaks in a single season or single game. At 215 pounds with another year to play, Roosevelt Leaks seems destined to become the greatest ground-gaining fullback in over 100 years of college football. Also honored, Woody Green, Arizona State. One big reason the Sun Devils averaged more than 550 yards per game in 1973. Watch the moves of a great running back as Green fakes number 32 totally out of the play. This senior from Portland, Oregon, galloped over 2 miles in his fabulous career, putting him 4th on college football's all-time rushing list. Whether running down a speeding motorist with a veteran policeman or outrunning enemy tackler,
College 5, go ahead.
10:45. Penn State halfback John Cappelletti, a law enforcement major, excels at his job.
Since I've come to Penn State, I've become very interested in the field of law enforcement and corrections. I never was really made it any kind of lifelong dream for myself, but up here I got into it early from somebody else on the team that was in it, and I find it very interesting. I'd like to someday, when I stop playing football, make it a career. The ultimate is the FBI, I think, as everybody knows, but I'd like to get some field experience so I could go into the FBI and start as an agent.
Learning law enforcement also takes the Penn State senior into the schools. But to these third graders, John Cappelletti is not a future policeman. He is a football star.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when you're running? And when you're running, what are your thoughts?
Well, I guess basically you just try and look at the defense as a general thing. You're not trying to look at anything specific. And I just try and, go for the hole that's, designated, and then, from there I just do whatever, comes natural, really.
John Cappelletti is the best football player I've ever been around, says Penn State coach Joe Paterno.
John Cappelletti, our tailback, is in the tradition of some of the great backs we've had at Penn State. Big, powerful runner. He plays at about 218, 220 with good speed and great acceleration. And in the clutch, when you need something done, John Cappelletti's the kind of kid that'll get it done for you. He's just a superior football player in every area. Bouncing off tacklers or streaking by them,
Cappelletti averaged 130 yards per game, leading Penn State to an undefeated season and a spot in the Orange Bowl. Roosevelt Leaks, Woody Green, and John Cappelletti, 3 brilliant runners in the year of the All-American runner.
You have just seen in action the young men who've made the 1973 All-American team. These young men are dedicated. They work very hard to earn these positions. They should be very proud of themselves because they've been outstanding athletes and also scholars.